Hello everyone, this is a study of the gift of the Magi by O. Henry. These are his dates, 1862 to 1910. His real name is William Sidney Potter, but he was known by the pseudonym or fictitious name O. Henry. As a child, he was an avid reader, but he had a very eventful young part of his life. He worked as a pharmacist, a bank teller, and a newspaper columnist, but eventually he was imprisoned for bank fraud because of embezzlement. Having been released in 1901, he moved to New York to start afresh, and he started writing short stories with great success. He had a particular style of writing where he used ordinary people, and the setting was usually New York, and his stories are known for their twist endings. And these are some of his better known short stories other than the one that we are dealing with. For example, The Green Door, The Last Leaf, etc. Now, The Gift of the Magi appeared in the newspaper in 1905, but it was the part of his short story collection, The 4 Million, published in 1906. The setting is a very humble apartment in New York, which a couple call home. And this couple is actually living on the fringes of poverty. And it happens to be Christmas Eve when we take a peek inside the lives of this couple. The main characters are James Dillingham Young and his wife Della. The wife calls the husband Jim, and which is what we will be using for this material. Initially, Jim was said to earn around $30 a week, but now he brings home a mere $20, out of which $8 is spent as weekly rent for their apartment. And understandably, they can neither afford nor do they have the luxury to receive letters or visitors into their poorly furnished lodgings. Now, as the story starts, we have Della counting how much money she has to buy a gift for Jim. It is all of $1.87. This despite haggling hard with the grocer, vegetable vendor, or even the butcher, where she even blushed out of embarrassment. However, she is left distraught and starts crying. But after composing herself, she looks at her image in the mirror and an idea strikes her. Now, at this point, it would be worth noting that the couple have two prized possessions. One is Della's lustrous locks, which fall like a cascade of brown waters, reaching even below her knees. And the other is Jim's gold pocket watch, an heirloom passed from his grandfather and father. So the narrator notes that even the Queen of Sheba would have been jealous of Della's hair, despite having so many jewels, and King Solomon himself would have plucked his beard with envy, seeing Jim's watch. So this is a reference to King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, known for their wisdom and wealth, respectively. Now, moving on with the story, having got a brilliant idea, Della suddenly dresses in a hurry and rushes to a shop where the selling and buying of hair is observed, and we have a certain Madame Sofroni who examines the brilliance of Della's hair and offers $20. With this money, Della rushes to the source and finds a chaste platinum fob chain, which she finds worthy of the watch that Jim possesses. And it is the understated value of this chain, because it's a platinum chain with very little external design, but it has merit by the worth of the metal. And for this, Della ends up paying $21, and she happily goes home with 87 cents in her pocket. And as she gets ready for dinner, she also tries to comb her hair, which is now cut very short. Now, as she awaits Jim, Della has a bit of apprehension about what his reaction would be. But when Jim enters the apartment, he neither shows nor surprise, anger, or any of the emotions that Della had expected. In fact, he eyes Della with a peculiar expression. And Della, drawing the conclusion that Jim is upset, tries to appease him. But Jim keeps muttering almost in an idiotic manner, "You've cut off your hair? You say your hair is gone?" So these are the kinds of questions that he poses to her without saying much. Now, having come to, he finally explains himself that he has a gift for Della, and if she opens this gift, then he will not need to explain, but the gift itself will explain his reaction. So Della excitedly opens her gift, and she finds the set of combs made of tortoise shells lined with beautiful jewels that she had admired from a Broadway window and obviously had found too expensive to afford. Obviously, she's over the moon, but she quickly ends up in tears. After a bout of tears, Della remembers that she has a gift for her husband and presents it to him in excitement. But when Jim sees what it is, he quietly tells her to keep the gifts away, as he confesses that he has sold his watch to buy her the expensive combs. Now, from a worldly perspective, the couple seem very foolish for using their most treasured possessions to buy gifts that seem useless at the end. Neither does Della have the hair to spot the clips or the combs that her husband has bought her, nor does Jim possess the watch with which to attach the platinum fob chain that his wife has bought him. However, the narrator calls them the Magi. The Magi are the three wise men who sacrificially undertook an arduous journey to present exquisite gifts to the baby Jesus. The couple are the Magi because they sacrificed their most precious possessions to buy gifts for each other, and they were motivated by nothing other than unconditional love. Jim and Della are considered the wisest of gift givers, as they have given sacrificially. Now, some of the themes are covered in this slide. Firstly, sacrificial love. And this is the purest and truest form of love, because one gives one's best expecting nothing in return. Secondly, we have generosity. Both Jim and Della, despite being impoverished, aim to give each other the best gifts at whatever cost. Then there is the question of wealth. What do you define as wealthy? Is it material riches or is it something else? The couple although they are poor materially, prove that they are rich in love and generosity. Now, the classic element that is present in O. Henry's short stories is the element of surprise by a twist ending. And this short story does not disappoint in that area, because having made the ultimate sacrifice, it's ironic that none of the gifts are of use to either of the husband and wife. So this story also kind of presents a question about the difference between wisdom and foolishness. Were they wise in giving the best gifts to each other? On the other hand, were they foolish? For they were poor and they sacrificed their best possessions, maybe on an impulse, to give gifts to one another. So these are the questions that we may look at as we objectively study this lesson. Thank you very much.